This message is a little bit about empowerment, and it was inspired because I got an email a few days ago from the daughter of my first of only two mentors in my entire life. The rest of my mentors have been books. But his daughter reached out to me to let me know that my friend from many years ago, Bruce, had passed away. And and it was a little sad for me to think about. And I hadn't been in touch with him for several years, but for many years we stayed in somewhat of touch. Because I first met Bruce when I was 25 years old, and I was a mess. Some people would say I'm still a mess, but that's okay. But Bruce, he gave me an opportunity at a time when I'm not really sure what he saw in me at that time. Obviously, he saw something, and it was in the commercial construction finance lending arena. But I had been a wreck for several years. I mean, I was a train wreck. I was, nothing but a partier and no ambition. But he didn't just give me an opportunity. Then he invested in me. He was a true mentor. He was patient and he was kind and he was tough, but he was supportive and he held me accountable, but he also gave me freedom to grow and work inside and never micromanage me. He really served me in so many ways. And that's really the lesson I want to pass on to you, because empowerment is such an important thing. There's so many people with so many capabilities and so many gifts and so many skills, but they're not empowered at all. They don't even think they're worthy of having personal power to do things, which is such a shame, because everybody has gifts to bring. Everybody has a role to play in making an impact of some sort. That doesn't mean you're meant to be rich and famous. I don't know what it's going to be for you, but make no mistake, you have the ability to make an impact, because that's why you're unique, because we all fit together. We don't fit in, we fit together, and it's because of our uniqueness and acting on that uniqueness. But we have a lot of stuff we have to get through. And so I realized many years later, and even reflecting this week once I heard the news, that he really did a lot for me. And it took me many years to recognize it. I didn't at the time. But he was demonstrating what I teach as a concept when I teach empowerment to corporations, and how I actually behave in the team that I serve and develop in my project work for my special life project that I am working on now, and how I've worked for years. He was the beginning of that, and I didn't even realize that. So the point is the belief algebra. What is belief algebra? So you think about it this way. First, somebody believes in you, and that is not a small thing, because the biggest issue for most people, if you are frustrated with where you are in your life and you have shied away from things you could do, or from relationships you could have, or steps you could take, that is all belief-based. Belief is at the foundation of everything, absolutely everything, right? When some people say, oh no, it's fear-based, or it's doubts, no, it's not. Those are just lack of belief. That's all that is. Right? If you believed you could do something, you would do it. The challenge is you haven't done it yet, so you're operating on a set of projected thoughts that are based on who you are now and what you believe now, which includes and encompasses all of your doubts and all of your history of things that you've not done, and not thinking about all that you have. That's all. I talk a lot about that in Three Circles Living book. But so first, he believed in me. And how did he demonstrate that? He demonstrated that by even giving me an opportunity. He could have chose many people to fill this role that I had. And then he invested time in me. He learned about me. He understood what was important. He could see things in me that I could not see yet, because he had years on me. He had experience. He'd been around, and I hadn't. And that's such an important lesson. And then over time, the second part of the equation of the belief algebra came in, because as I got to trust him and recognize that he genuinely cared about me, this is really important for leadership, but it's also important for any mentorship. Then I started to believe in him. And that is a really crucial moment, because that's when I started to have success, because I had a lot of success in that window of time that I worked with him, even though I still didn't believe in me. I still didn't believe in me, but his belief in me and my trust in him empowered me enough to go forward and take action. And from taking action under his tutelage, I began to have success. Now, the third piece of that equation is you believe in yourself, right? So first somebody believes in you, and then you have to believe in them. So just because they believe in you, like anybody can say, hey, I believe in you, but if you don't trust and believe in that person, that's just words. It means nothing to you. It has no substance. But once you believe in them, right, then you can start questioning yourself, right? You can take action, and you have to take action. Without action, none of this matters anyway. You just end up steeped in your false beliefs, and you'll live a life that your false beliefs will have you live. And then over time, after you do the work, right, after you do the work, not just in the work, but on yourself, then you begin to believe in yourself. But for me, that took many, many years later. However, it didn't inhibit me from acting on things, because what I had learned in that process of his mentorship made me more likely. It's what led to me to start my first business in the face of an incredible amount of criticism and laughter. And oh gosh, I mean, it was brutal, especially for someone who's sensitive and introverted and had low self-esteem, all that fun stuff. And so here are the lessons, right? The lessons to kind of encapsulate from this. One is, I succeeded, and the lesson isn't about me, but it's in general. I began having success under his mentorship because of the first two steps. Not the third, because I didn't believe in myself yet. I was just doing it. I was just doing the work in the face of my doubts, right? Which then led me years, not long after, right, to start my own business, because I had enough experience now to be willing to try something, whereas my history prior was not that. I was the person who did not follow through on anything. I quit everything, right? He changed that. He actually changed that by believing in me as a mentor. And then so the first is, you can succeed in something just by having the first two. Somebody believes in you and you believe in them. At that point, you act on that. The second part of that is the action part. You have to learn to receive it, right? It's sort of like when someone tells you or gives you a compliment, you're like, oh, shucks, no, that's not. You know what? Receive it, right? Accept it. Otherwise, you're actually saying that they don't have merit, which wouldn't make sense if you believed in that person. You see, you're not objective about yourself. Let's be real. When you look in the mirror, you don't see what other people see. And when you look at yourself, unless you have done years of development and you have done years of working on your skills, you do not see what other people see. They see a much better version of you than you see. And that's really, really important to remember, because they can see your potential while you can feel your doubts, right? Where you still are chained to some of your limiting beliefs. And then the third lesson here is, do this for others. My friend James Long, who is just a fabulous human being, and he is, he's the kind of guy, like, if I ever grow up, I want to be like him, right? Kind of thing. He says that he believes there's a massive shortage of mentors in this world, and I do too. I think that so many people are caught up in themselves and what's in it for them that they forget that the path to an awesome life is making an impact on others. It's serving others. That's the ultimate way to make an impact. And so even if you just are a major encourager and supporter of people with thoughtfulness, right? Not just like, go get her, with thoughtfulness, right? So that you are expressing why you believe that they can do well. What you are giving them is such an incredible gift. You know, John Maxwell says encouragement is the oxygen of the soul. So true and so rare. There's just not very much of it. You be an encourager, you can make an impact in lots of people's lives. And then if you'll take the time to actually go a little further and provide some mentorship for someone, it won't just change their life. It'll change your life. I mean, it will make you feel so fulfilled. So there's few little nuggets that I'm passing along on empowerment that will serve you in your work. It'll serve you in your family. It'll serve you with your friendships. It'll serve you in your community. It'll serve you everywhere if you grab onto this and act on it. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you want to connect with me in other ways, I am on LinkedIn. You can connect to me there. I produce content occasionally for there. I have a Facebook fan page. I produce content there. It's all free stuff. I have a website where I produce at least a blog a week, and there's a bank of hundreds of blogs on all kinds of topics, from leadership to personal development to core competencies and skills that can help you be better in your work. And of course, I've written books, and my kind of my heart work was Three Circles Living, which is the exact, literally platform for creating an amazing life that has helped lots of people, obviously including myself, because I don't teach anything that I don't do. So I hope this was helpful, and I wish you a great rest of your day or night or wherever you watch this.